Hello there. The UK wants to be at the forefront of floating offshore. So far, there are only four floating offshore wind farms, the largest of which is expected to be completed in spring 2023. The plants have a total capacity of 200 megawatts. That's a niche technology still. According to the organization Renewable UK, a whopping 185 gigawatts are being planned, spread over 230 projects. Compared to 2022, the capacities on the project pipeline have even doubled. The UK leads the way with 33,255 megawatts in the project pipeline, followed by Sweden with 21,000 and Ireland with 19,000. In all three cases, the volume of the proposed projects far exceeds the current installed offshore wind capacities of these countries, regardless of whether they are floating or traditional land-based installations. But one thing is clear, floating wind turbines will be the next big trend in the wind industry. And the reason for this, entirely new areas can be opened up. The currently deepest wind farm with permanently installed foundations, Seagreen, is being built in a water depth of up to 59 meters. While offshore wind turbine developers have ventured to greater depths, 60 meters seems to be the limit. In many countries, however, the seabed drops off steeply behind the coast, which severely limits the possibilities for regular installations. The west coast of Ireland, for example, has strong and reliable winds, but only over a narrow strip of seabed less than 60 meters deep within the 12 nautical mile limit. Portugal's Atlantic coast and much of the Mediterranean share a similar underwater topography. On the other side of the world, California has the same problem. Huge wind potential on its Pacific coast, albeit in too deep waters. And this is exactly where floating wind farms offer a solution. With the help of lines and anchors, wind turbines can be attached to the seabed and float on the water surface. As a result, wind farms can be built in even deeper waters. As a result, more wind resources can be made available to countries interested in or already using offshore wind generation of this almost clean electricity. Another reason for the emerging trend is performance. For example, the world's first floating offshore wind farm, Hywind Scotland, recorded an average utilization rate of 57.1% in the 12 months to March 2021, making it the UK's best utilized wind farm for the third year running. This has strengthened the market's confidence in this technology. The price development will also make the invention even more attractive in the future. Floating wind turbines are still more expensive than permanently installed ones. However, developers are confident that costs will come down just as quickly as for onshore and traditional offshore wind turbines. And there are already signs of this. In July, the United Kingdom awarded a contract for a difference for a floating offshore wind farm at a base price of just £87.30 per megawatt hour, well below the prices charged in parallel for conventional offshore wind farms, and they have been agreed to do that. Floating wind turbines also lend themselves well to onshore factory production and promise lower installation and maintenance costs as the turbines can be transported to and from offshore locations, let's say relatively easily. One of the most important factors for the positive development is innovation, and that takes place on a large scale nowadays. There are more and more different floating designs. The number of tests of new innovations at sea is also increasing. It's not yet possible to say which platforms on which one or more turbines stand will prove to be the best, but the machines that will be used in the next few years will almost certainly be more efficient, more robust, and cheaper than those in the pioneering phase. They are constantly being optimized in terms of production and in terms of operation. And the German company RWE is a pioneer when it comes to floating wind farms and is involved in a number of pioneering concepts. These include Demosat, a concrete catamaran-like structure assembled from prefabricated modules. A demonstration turbine with a capacity of 2 megawatts will be installed off Spain in 85-meter water depths just a single anchorage, allowing it to orient itself with the wind direction. Another innovation is the TetraSpar pilot project. The model consists of a tubular steel support structure with a hanging keel and carries a 3.6 megawatt turbine. The construction has been tested in 200 meters of water of Norway since November 21. In the United States, RWE will test the Volturn US concept. It's a semi-submersible concrete structure with an 11 megawatt turbine off the coast of Maine. However, RWE's most advanced plans are in the UK. The company plans to deploy at least 1 gigawatt of floating wind turbines in the Celtic Sea, utilizing local ports and supply chains wherever possible. So still, despite Brexit, there are ways. RWE is currently testing 4 floating platforms for the Celtic Sea. The company is also working with South Wales-based floating platform developer Marine Power Systems, who is currently developing the Pilaflex platform. 2 letters of intent have already been signed between RWE and the deep-sea ports ABP Port Talbot and Pembroke Port, and with local steelmaker Tata Steel. The implementation of these plans would give the Welsh economy a significant boost. The Celtic Sea also plays an important role for the British government. By 2030, the government wants to build floating wind turbines with a capacity of 5 gigawatts with a special focus on the area. The Crown Estate has identified a number of search areas which will be further narrowed down to project development areas, or so-called PDAs, and expect to award 4 different PDAs to at least 3 different bidders over the next year. The proposed wind farms will be 1 gigawatt in size and can be built in stages, which would provide huge economies of scale for floating wind energy. And as you heard, Scotland is still the best place for it, and now Wales. So, nice to hear. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.